Hi, it's Adam from realitymanifestation.com. Do you know what causes manifesting techniques to actually work? Do you know why they work for some, but not others? Well, within this video, I'm going to be going through fundamental principles that cause money manifesting techniques to actually work, and also 6 steps with a very powerful technique at the end you can start to follow in order to start attracting more money into your own life. Now, jumping straight into it, and to make it clear from the get-go, I don't want to give the impression that this video is going to make you rich beyond your wildest dreams, or that you can never have any money issues again. However, with that said, by becoming aware of these principles, when you go to apply any visualization, money manifesting technique, or whatever it may be, you're going to start seeing far better results, or become more aware of why you might not be getting the results you've been wanting. So now, before we go into these 6 steps, here are some fundamental principles you want to start becoming aware of and applying to get the best results. So the first being, when it comes to manifesting money, you want to focus on the emotion of spending it rather than receiving. Wanting to receive is coming from a place of lack, whereas spending comes from a place of abundance. Focus on the emotion of what you'll do with the money, how it will feel when you've got what you're wanting. Because the subconscious and unconscious mind doesn't understand figures, it understands emotion. By focusing on what you're going to experience through what you want the money for, that's how it'll come via means. Why it might not actually be the money itself, but you might even get what you're wanting the money for free. So another important principle is, when the money itself is less important and the pleasure of spending it, the money will come easier. Now with this, you don't want to confuse this with just going crazy, going on shopping sprees and being completely careless. It relates to the previous point of when you're focusing more around the actual feeling of what you want the money for rather than the money itself. That's when it will come easier. This isn't saying to just go and carelessly go and waste all of your money, except that the money manifestation technique you're going to do might not work or take longer than you're planning, and it will come in faster and also larger amounts. A very important principle that's often overlooked is, do as much as you can in the physical world, as this opens up more opportunities for the universe, your unconscious mind, your higher self, whatever you believe in, to present it to you. Quite often people, when they go to practice any of these techniques, or similar to the one I'm going to go through at the end of this video, by going nowhere, you're shutting off opportunities for things to come to you. Remember, we live in a binary reality. There's a physical and a metaphysical. You want to apply and use both in harmony. By not moving and taking any action, you're making it much harder for anything to be presented to you. And the last important principle I'm going to go through is that, put the intention or need for money out of your mind by doing anything that you're interested in or that keeps you busy. As the more you focus on something, especially with a feeling of importance, you're actually pushing this further away. I've gone through this in a lot of detail in the Ultimate Practical Guide to Manifesting. You should see a link pop up above, or you'll see it on the channel. However, it's just important to remember that the more you're focusing on something, you're keeping it out of your unconscious mind, and you're actually stopping it from being manifested, especially if you're doing it from a place of, oh, I need money, or I want money for this. The more you can just be at ease with it, and this is done easier when it's not in your current conscious awareness, the much better and the much easier results will come to you. Now, just before I jump into these 6 steps, I thought I'd come back and add some bonus tips, so these are very important to understand to get the most out of any form of money manifestation techniques. And the first one being, just by applying a money manifestation technique in itself doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the results you're wanting. As I was saying before about living in a binary reality, but also, if you're not aware of your unconscious associations around something, within this context being money, if you associate money to being, if you're having a great amount, to being greedy, selfish, or that it's evil, you're going to send out vibrations and unconsciously take physical action that's going to sabotage and stop you from getting a certain amount of money that you're uncomfortable with. But also, if you was presented with that amount of money that's above your comfort zone, or what you associate to being reasonable, whatever that may mean to you, that you will sabotage it by some stupid means, or you will actually start to attract circumstances such as bills that will push us further away, which is going to relate to the first step I'm going to go through. But by believing, say for example, if you get some money come in that you won't expect, that you're always going to get a bill at the same time or something that's going to take it away, and then it happens and you attract it, and you get angry saying, why does this happen every time? You're only strengthening the belief. So it's vital that you become aware of the associations you have around money. And you also want to become aware, without going into too much detail in this video, is following intuitively what you feel is aligned with your true purpose and what you're wanting to do in terms of your job, business, whatever you're going into, that feels intuitively the right thing for you. As you start to follow what feels like your true path, money will come via its means by going towards your main purpose and your main goals in life and what's going to go serve a greater amount of people. As you start to apply these principles, you'll become aware of more opportunities start to present themselves to you. So then it comes down to you by being consciously aware of these opportunities to take them. And to give you an example of how to start applying this on a wider scale, rather than thinking of trying to attract $1 million, $10 million, a few $1,000s, whatever it may be, focus on how you can serve a few thousand people or 1 million people, how by adding value to people. Because when you go to add value, let's have it perceived of at least equal value or higher, that's when it will return to you. Within your current circumstances of a job, you may be thinking, well, I don't have the opportunity to help thousands of people, millions of people, whatever it may be. That's when you may need to ask yourself and become aware and focus intuitively, which again I've gone through this more in the Ultimate Practical Guide to Manifesting. Is your current circumstances and job truly in line with what your true purpose is and to your potential, how you can go serve others as well? There's much more to those final points I was saying about your current job, business, around it, but I wanted to put those points in as they're often very often overlooked, because quite often people will do some money manifestation techniques that will help them for the short term or might not even then, but then they don't look at the overall bigger picture and creating circumstances that just naturally by themselves attract money and wealth, rather than looking for something out of desperation to try and get a quick short sum of money for the short term. Now, with that said, let's get into these 6 steps. Okay, so the first step I want to take is to become aware of your current associations to money. So I've already given examples of this previously, where say if someone unconsciously associates money, well, having a certain amount of money, should I say, to being greedy, selfish, or maybe even evil, it's quite obvious to why that's going to block and stop someone from getting the money financial situations they may consciously think that they want, but unconsciously they've got inner conflicts. So you can do this by making a list. So you can either do it with 2 sides, with one being positive associations, the other being a negative. So how you relate to money. So say for example, someone may see money as freedom or the opportunity to contribute, and on the other side again the amount of conflict, saying it's evil, it's painful, it's hard to come by, whatever it may be. Get them written down, or you can just keep writing sentences after sentences. Money means this. Do I see money is easy to get? Do I see it as difficult? Keep asking yourself questions and write down as much as you can. As the more aware you become of it, the more it will start to become clear to you why when you go to want to make more money, why you keep attracting worse results or not getting the results you're wanting. When you start to become aware of the negative associations you have around money, you can start using these following methods to change them so they become more empowering. So the first you can try and do is by rephrasing a current belief you may have. So for example, if someone sees money as evil, you could rephrase it to that money is evil in the wrong hands, but I use it for good. So by rephrasing a current belief, it's much easier than completely changing it altogether. The next thing you want to do is challenge that belief you currently have. So you can start to ask yourself these questions. When did I first learn this belief and who did I learn it from? Do I want to model this person's view on money or anything around money in this area of my life? So quite often, who do we tend to learn our beliefs and views from, especially around money? If we use it through who cared and brought us up, whether it's our parents or whoever, and if they had a challenging time with money and you've seen this as you're growing up, it's quite obvious to what associations you'll have to money is very much in relation to the situations you're brought up in. So again, you want to ask yourself, do I want to model this person's view in this area? Is it accurate? Is it actually empowering? And then you want to ask yourself, what effect is having this belief having on me and my family? So you want to start associating pain to that belief as well, if it's something you're wanting to shift, as that's what's going to give you the drive and to start breaking that association, to break out that pattern and that subconscious thinking around that association. And then also ask yourself this question, what effect will it have no longer having that association around money? So you want to start associating pleasure to shifting that belief. So you could start to think, well, if I no longer see money as being evil, I'll actually be able to start making more money to help more people, do it for the greater good, start helping my family, friends, whatever it may be. Now, the following 4 steps are the technique in itself. I just wanted to add that as an extra step at the beginning, because without becoming aware of those associations, I'm sure you start to become aware of why quite often you might be feeling like you're taking 2 steps forward but 3 steps back. So there's 2 versions of this technique. It's a green money candle technique. So one's with a candle, one without. So what you're going to need for this is a green candle, and yes, it needs to be green because to do with the unconscious associations to the colour, and green in most cultures is a representation, an association should I say, to money. You're also going to want some form of brown paper. You could use like a brown paper bag. So this is going to be because you're going to write a statement of intent on it, and you preferably want a pencil to write that with as well. You also want a suitable candlestick holder as well for the green candle itself, and preferably an unscented candle, and you don't want one with a long burning time, as you're going to have the candle going until it burns all the way down, which I'll go into more detail in a moment. And also when you decide to go and perform this technique, it's best performed on either a Thursday or a Friday. I just want to make a quick disclaimer, if you're going to do the candle version, and it's the version I highly recommend as it's more proven to get far better results, they use basic fire safety, and by performing this it's at your own risk, and never leave a candle burning or lit without any supervision. So make sure that you've got suitable basic fire safety in place before performing this technique. So to recap what you're going to want from step 2, you want a green candle if you're going to do the candle version, a suitable candle holder, some brown paper or brown paper bag you can tear off, and a pencil to write your statement of intent. Now moving on to step 3, which is writing your statement of intent. You want to take your brown paper bag or brown paper and to tear any corners off, and have it so it's a suitable size so you can write your statement, but also don't have it as it's too big, as eventually we're going to place it under the candle holder. That's if it's safe to do so. Once you've prepared that, you want to write your statement of intent in the present tense. So to give you some examples, I have even more money than I need for my holiday. I can afford my healthcare. Money flows to me consistently in abundance. So you want to make sure that they're written in a positive context. So for example, you don't want to write, I no longer struggle to pay my bills. As to the subconscious, this is processed as the same as saying, I struggle to pay my bills. Instead, this could be better phrased as, I easily afford to pay all of my bills. And then for step number 4, you want to transmute your emotions into the candle, or if you're not using the candle, by focusing it into your statement of intent. And now this is obviously going to be when you, on the actual day you go to perform this technique, you want to make sure you're in a clean environment, as this is going to affect what's in your subconscious and unconscious mind, what's being picked up, and wearing your most expensive clothes. You want to feel as abundant and wealthy already before you even go into performing this technique. So once you have everything set up before lighting the candle, you want to hold it in your right hand and focus on the emotion that the money you're wanting will give you. So again, focus more on the spending of it rather than the receiving. So focus on what you're going to do and how you'd feel rather when you've spent it on what you're wanting it on. Avoid trying to focus on the figures, as the subconscious and unconscious work on emotions, not figures. Once you have this feeling, focus on pushing it into the candle. The stronger the emotion, the better it's going to be. Do this for as long as you can until you start to feel like you're tired, or just before you start to lose interest. If you're not using the candle, just focus on the emotion and keep pushing it and visualize it going into the statement of intent. So at step 5, we're going to use your statement of intent and start to light the candle. So you want to place your statement facing downwards so you can't see it underneath the candle, only if it's safe to do so. So obviously under the candle holder. Otherwise, place it to the side of it. Then you want to light the candle and watch it in a relaxed state until it burns all of the way down. Depending on the size of your candle, this can take several hours. So I recommend avoiding buying a candle with a long burning time. You can have breaks by putting the candle out, then coming back to it, but I only recommend doing this when it's essential, such as having a toilet break. The technique is complete when the candle has burnt all of the way down. If you're doing the version without the candle, focus on the emotion on the statement of intent facing downwards until you begin to lose interest or struggle to keep focus. Then dispose of it without looking at what the statement of intent says. Then moving on to the final step of step 6, immediately dispose of everything used within the technique and forget about it. This technique is powerful because it drives into the unconscious mind, which contains the power to manifest, where all the true power comes to manifest, should I say. I've covered this in more detail in previous videos, but you want to become aware of when you're consciously focusing on something. So basically when it's in your awareness, it's no longer going into your unconscious mind. Well, it's no longer in your unconscious because you're consciously aware of it. And it's our unconscious, depending on your belief, whether it changes your physical actions, whether it's because it's connected to your higher self, is where the true power to change the vibrations, connect to that greater intelligence that attracts what we're wanting into our life lays. So you want to completely dispose of it out of your conscious awareness as much as you can. So you can do this by having something planned and prepared to do immediately after you've done the technique, and to dispose of the candle and statement of intent straight away. So there could be something as mundane as going watching a comedy film or going to work, whatever it may be. You want to just set yourself up to win, so you have something to immediately do after to take your mind off it. Don't worry if you can't help yourself, as when you start to get into the habit of aiming to forget what manifestation techniques you've done, it can be difficult to forget. But if you can't help yourself, just focus on the emotion of what it will feel like when you've got the result you're wanting, rather than trying to fight it. As by trying to fight it for, it's actually just going to come more difficult to get rid of that thought. You only want to perform this technique a few times per year, avoiding doing it on a regular basis, as this leads to poor results. And just to make it clear as well, this is more designed for, you will likely get like a one-off time sum of money, or something may be greatly reduced in price. So you might get something via some means that you totally don't expect, and it will likely come via a logical means as well, so it can be easy to brush off that you've never done it. So it can be good to keep a journal that you've done this technique as well. But it's not designed to make it so you're going to be constantly attracting more wealth and abundance into your life, or that's going to completely transform every circumstances around your life in association to money. It's just a powerful technique to get a more of a one-off sum, so you can start to see for yourself and have a powerful technique you can do every so often to get an influx of money in. I've used this technique several times myself with great success, but just wanted to make it clear it's not going to transform your life and give you necessarily the life you want in terms financially, the situations you're wanting, but it can be a great step to begin with to have a technique that is powerful and I know gets results. As when you start to believe more, you can start to change your circumstances and attract money in as you start to see results, and make it much easier to go towards and create the life and circumstances where you'll start to actually be in that position to have the financial situations that you're wanting. To wrap up this video and the main key points, you want to become aware of your associations around money, whether they're positive or negative, and to challenge the disempowering associations around money. You want to focus on the emotions of spending money rather than receiving it. When the money itself is less important than the pleasure of spending it, it will come easier, except that it might not even work or take longer than you've initially planned, and it'll likely come much faster in larger amounts. So again, this is why getting the technique out of your conscious awareness makes this much easier. I always love to hear people's greatest insights or the deepest learnings they've taken from any of our videos. So if you could comment to let me know below, especially if you perform the technique, and let me know on the results you get. But like I say, be patient with it, as it will likely come when you least expect it. If you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button, as we add content on a regular basis. And if you want to be notified, click on the bell icon. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I shall see you next time.